Hello and welcome to Grinding Meaning. I'm the Expert Layman. This is number 16, Self-censorship and Weighted Armor. There's one thing I hate when I go to watch a video. It's when a creator decides to take a chunk at the beginning of the video and let me explain all the reasons and all the motivations and all the events leading up to my making this video. Then you skip ahead. This is going to be kind of why I do things the way I do them. Kind of the reasoning behind it. Essentially, I don't want to run afoul of the YouTube gods. And the most important thing to me is the art that I'm making. And that has to be the main thing. And I want to find the people like myself who enjoy my unusual video art. And that's going to be hard to do if I get throttled or, I don't know, just what happens when you talk about no topics. So most of my Grinding Meaning streams, you can extrapolate what I'm talking about out to, I'm not really doing anything in game. Sort of doing a quest over here. Nothing really special. But the main reason I started doing the streams is just I wanted to be able to improve my communication skills. Also, it's terrifying, and I've learned that doing things that terrify me end up being good for me in the long run. But the reason I kind of have a policy of I don't do politics, current events, or public figures. I'll make exceptions, like I'll mention creator types that I really like Trey Parker and Matt Stone, South Park. But pretty much that's the rule. It's just like I don't want to have to deal with any of that, so I just don't go there. And there'd be tons of things I'd love to talk about, but the art's got to come first. These guys resist a lot. You're going to walk right up to him, aren't you?
Not still recharging.
Of course. Oh, god damn it. Awesome timing there. So it forces me to talk about things more at a fundamental level, just like the human interface with reality kind of level, which ends up being, a lot of psychological stuff, and, there's a lot of philosophy in there. But there's an old adage, I have no idea where it came from, but it says, if you can't explain it to a child, you don't really know it. It's like, like everyone else, I think I'm right about the things I think I'm right about. That's just not. But when you have to kind of, essentially, I don't know how to put this. I kind of started liking the super abstract nature of the things I'm talking about, because then it can apply to more things. Like if I kind of just I kind of have this, I don't know, mantra that there's a limited number of ways that systems can manifest, and it seems like, I don't know, if you fixate on it for a few decades, you start to pick up the similarities between systems. So when you're talking about one thing, and then this is essentially what art does. Art, kind of taps into these, I don't know, precognitive recognition whatever things, like where you can talk about one thing and you're actually talking about several things at the same time because they just kind of manifest that way. I wish a good example was popping into my head. But I was in the last video. I was talking about something. I forget what it was I was talking about. I was just like, I don't want to get too much into the details, just because I don't want to. I want this to summon as many things as possible in people's heads. Ooh. This guy's hit like a truck. Come on, fire shield. So like when I'm the 4D chess and toxic vampires. Yeah, I was talking about a real thing that occurred. What I'm really describing is there's a personality type out there, and every group that has bad actors essentially draws this type of personality. There are people that, like I said in the video, like they can't balance themselves except at the expense of other people, which makes them a parasite. They basically need other people to attack so that they don't have to like cope with themselves being shitty. And this manifests in a lot of different ways, and you know, it's one of those things that personality type will manifest some type of behavior like that, but it will depend on the context and their personality, and you know, just kind of like, you know, it'll be plastic to the environment to a degree, but it'll still take on that basic form of finding other people to cast as the villain and then attacking them. The ways that they attack, and you know, how they classify people as villains, and you know, all that'll be context, or you know, like context dependent. But and when you come to the what do you call it, the weighted armor, having this kind of handicap, you could easily become resentful about it. Or maybe, you know, be a little more mature about it and realize it's like building a skill set. It's like some things, if you make them harder, you get harder. Good example in Rocket League. The Breakout is my worst car, and that's the only car I play. Whenever I've played other cars, I play so much better. But it's kind of like driving that car is kind of like my weighted training clothes. If I can like if I just stay on that car until I can't, I don't know, if I hit a wall where I don't seem like I'm still making any significant improvement, I can do that. But I think putting like kind of seemingly arbitrary limitations on yourself can help you develop skill sets you wouldn't have otherwise developed. Oh, God damn it. It's also why I only use, well, there are other reasons for that, but this also applies to enhancing my video art. I use Premiere Elements for all of it. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to have some motion control. It'd be nice to have, it'd be nice to have the full set of features that you would with, like, you know, like Premiere Pro or something. But another analogy is like, I used to like playing golf. I'm kind of scared of what I might do to my back these days if I played now, but I just got I just went to Play It Again Sports, got some cheap clubs. You know, I never actually check my stream, but I'm sure it's fine. Okay. And I went and I got a cheap pair or a cheap set of Wilson clubs. And I never upgraded them because I never considered myself to be good enough to benefit from better tools. It's like the limiting factor was not the clubs. Yeah, I hadn't planned on this being a really long one. Got stuck at work pretty late. Yeah, the thing is about like testing like like with YouTube. I've been watching YouTube for a long time, like almost since the beginning. I've really only been consistently posting content for couple of years now. 3 years? Huh. But I've been watching creators. Whenever they talk shop, I'm always super curious. And I guess since I've kind of been watching from a more objective place because I don't have skin in the game, or didn't, I could just see the slow shift. I mean, if you... something that would be completely innocuous today in a... in 6 months or a year or 2 years or whatever, it could be like a thing worthy of deleting a channel for. You don't know where things are going to go. And if you kind of extrapolate where they were, like, I don't know, even just 5 years ago to where they are now, and you project that into the future, it's going to be rough. So it's like a frog on a hot plate. If you're like an actual creator who makes actual real money and not like the tip for your delivery like I do, you kind of get sucked in to where you don't notice it slowly changing over time. And I don't want to have to worry about that. So like the vast majority of my videos don't have words, people, or anything that could be called a thing, because it's just the abstract animation and it's set to music. And oddly enough, the music, using copyrighted music, it sounds weird, but it actually kind of protects you, because YouTube is less likely to tread on the money being made by people letting YouTube play their content. In a weird way, I'm slightly defended by the Recording Association of America and whoever happens to own the copyright on whatever music I'm using. No, I can't monetize it, but it does seem weird to monetize before you have a larger audience. Like, if you're going to inconvenience people by having ads on your video, there's supposed to be something here. Damn it. I don't know. And it's so weird with YouTube. Like on the streams and like a lot of stuff I do, I just have to leave the monetization off, even if I want to turn it on later, because they will put an ad on like every 4 minutes, and they won't let you change it until they're done scanning the video. So, or at least they won't let me. Was it over here? There's something here. There it is. I think it's also kind of this weighted armor thing is kind of it's kind of like the Star Wars franchise. When Lucas had incredible technical obstacles to overcome, and like it just took an immense amount of effort and creativity and people working together and just having a lot of talented people around to overcome these things. The end product, I think the amount of effort put into art just kind of carries over on kind of this unconscious level that people pick up on. So when the prequels came around, oh my God, it looked amazing. But you also kind of know they didn't have to work as hard for it. But since they did so much more, it was kind of like, oh, okay, you know. I mean, we won't get into how Lucas can't write romance, but it wasn't bad. Um, I mean, but then you get to the sequels, and they don't even really look as good as what was going on in the prequels. But you know they have better technology, so there's almost a like an instinctive. I don't know. It stinks of low effort because it's like if the technology has improved. What is that? Is it just goldfish? I don't know. Yeah, the technology has improved, like you know, since the last ones, and then they don't look significantly better. You're like, okay, what happened? You know, like it's like a downward curve in like effort in making when you go from the original trilogy to the prequels to the sequels, without really addressing anything else. I think that holds up. So I don't know. I guess I'm advocating putting what might seem like arbitrary restrictions on yourself. It's kind of like some things like bones need to be stressed in order to be strong. You know, you go in space for a while, man, your bones get brittle. I mean, there's exercises they can do, but nothing can really match gravity. They're just, in order to even find a balance, you need an oppositional force to push against. I guess that's the core principle. I feel like I'm really just rambling, but I just need to get a stream out tonight because I don't have many videos in the can. So this is the why I do what I do. So I don't have to like put it in front of any other videos. You know, I never check my chat. I'm sorry. From the chat. Oh my god. Dova, Dova clean, Oxydova clean. No, I am. I don't consume that and never have. Of the video feedback thing, I don't think a neurotypical person would put themselves through that if they weren't getting, I don't know, like, think about, like, autistic people when they're, like, fixating on stuff. They're not just, like, looking at the thing, or if they're fiddling with something, it's not about that. It's, like, it's kind of like a key to let them, I don't know. Sorry? So many questions. Oh, the question was, I'd like to know how much time and effort it takes to make something like Hypnotize by Becky. You know what? Let me grab that folder. It's gonna take just a second for me to find it. That is not it. This is my most current project folder. These are all project folders. Shoot, and I always give them names, like original names, so I can keep them apart. But I don't remember which one that was. Well, it should be. No. Oh, there's another way for me to look this up. Yeah, I'm just give me one more minute here, and I will. I just got to get on my YouTube channel because I can see the upload file name. Yeah, I don't have a great. I should just rename those for the actual videos, but I'm strange. Okay, I'll have it here in just a second. Where did it go? Seriously, it should be on the first page. I'd put this part on the screen, but there might be information on here. Okay, I guess I got to search for it. There it is. There it is. Too many videos. Bolapar. That was the file folder name. So it actually started off, I think I actually blended these two. I'm not sure, this is like 30 minutes long, I'm not sure which parts. You can probably recognize it, this is the raw capture. Let me make sure this is showing up properly. Oh my god, that was not the thing to open. Yeah, it looks like it's showing up, okay. And it'll go through a few iterations. Like that's the raw. Did I end up using this? Yeah, occasionally I'll integrate. Ooh, I can't play too much of that. I'll get my stream yanked. If I usually I don't, but sometimes I'll use like this VSXU player to kind of add a little to help time it better. I'll key it into like one of the background effects or something, just to give a little extra boost and make it match the music better. But typically, I rarely use these, maybe 10% of the time. So that's where that came from. But I can go through a few iterations here. A lot of times I won't know which part I'm going to grab. Right now I'm just trying to get some color separation. I'm not really, it's probably playing a little choppy, but smoothing comes later. It's kind of just enhancing the contrast that's already there. And there's a lot more detail in video. When you capture natural phenomenon, there's a great deal more information in the video than is actually visible in the raw. And it's kind of like carving pieces away from a sculpture. And you can start to see how it kind of comes together here and getting the rainbow effect. I would actually open the project folders, but in Premiere Elements, but that probably won't play very well. Oh, here's where I vertically flipped and then blended them together. But just trying to make it appealing for other people, because man, I get a kick out of the raw images. I got to make sure to. I'll skip up here a little bit. Should turn that volume down. Start seeing it come together. I use mostly chroma key, luma key, new blue cartoon effects. Sometimes I'll use the texturing, sometimes I won't. But it's good for adding shading to solids. Now this not quite that appealing yet. But yeah, here's the final one, and I think I already muted it so I don't get yeeted. Yeah, probably shouldn't be playing 4K video while streaming. I don't think it's. Am I still streaming? OBS had a crash. Okay, I think I'm back. No, sorry, OBS had some kind of weird crash that I've never seen before. Well, in case you missed it, each iteration can take each render for each iteration all the way up to the final one that I posted. Between 30 minutes for something simple and something more complicated, depending on how much I'm doing. Obviously, if I do too much, this is also why I separated into separate things. Because if I did everything at once, it's because an exponential length effect. So, like, if I were to do all these iterations, if I were be smart enough to be able to make all the changes I wanted in one thing, even if that were possible, you might be looking at the heat death of the universe before it got done, because of just the way it works. So you have to break it down. Plus, I also don't always know where things are going. I'm just trying to get it in a particular direction. It's very intuitive. Oh, apparently I really, really like talking about myself. Well, nobody ever asked me about my art, so I'm like, usually it's like I've got somebody cornered at work, you know. No, not really, but that's what it feels like. It's like I require captive audience for someone to take an interest.
Go in peace.
Well, I am going to get off my stream here. Oh, this is where I should have come in. And then put it on the widescreen. Widescreen working? It is not. That's not it. I wonder what I did with that. Where it shows all three of my screens. Well,